Let's cite it and let's find the answers together.
What up, GH? What's going on? We come your way with the latest fella, and yes, are you looking for the latest news about your favorite celebrities? Who married who and who cheated on who? Here we'll discuss everything and everything with fun, joy, and comedy. Join myself on Himalayan DJ Coverage and Master of Comedy Alaji Zongo on Wednesday at exactly 8 p.m. live on Ghana Talks Radio.
This is Ghana Talks Radio, the best station rocking the nation.
Yeah, nobody feeling that way I'm feeling tonight, yeah. And I have the hope that things will be alright, yeah. So we're feeling irate as we hustle all day long. We are hoping say that
you are vice president. How do you see for finance minister to create? If I'm a vice president, how can finance minister bully me? And now you come back and tell us we are not giving opportunity. What else?
when the things go harder, stronger than Umaga. Brother, know they quiver, we go smack them like Undertaker. When the things go harder, we go stronger than Umaga. Yeah, we go smack them Undertaker. Jale, oh, jale, here we go again.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Wednesday edition of the Cubicle right here on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Lansa Haruna and I'll be your host for the next 1 hour, next 30 minutes because we started a little bit because of we had some technical difficulties right here in the studio, but we are back on and we are back on with Vim. This Wednesday or this afternoon I'm discussing a very interesting and very controversial issue, and it's all about the NPP flag bearership position. The race to who leads the NPP into the 2024 elections. So far, it's been booty from the agenda, from the camps of each and every interested candidate or every interested NPP leader. Today, our focus mainly is on the Honorable Kennedy Agyapong and what he's been saying so far. If you are in Ghana and you are so active on social media, you'll notice that since yesterday there has been an audio which has been trending of Mr. Kennedy Agyapong giving it to our Vice President Dr. Bawumia. Why the constant attacks on the Vice President? We look at it into two, and we are trying to understand how does it affect the chances of the NPP in their quest to break the 8. You know,
This is Ghana Talks Radio, the best station rocking the nation.
Of the strong conviction that they are going to break the 8.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
They are going to break the jinx that has always been on Ghana politics, whereby a party comes in, does 2 times, and then they go off. So our main focus is on the attacks, or we are trying to see Kennedy Agyapong versus Dr. Bawumia. Will the NPP suffer in any way in their chances to break the 8? That is what we're discussing today, this afternoon on the Cubicle. Remind you, we are streaming live from our studios in Anya, the Greater Accra region. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube and the Ghana Talks Radio, and we are also live on our website at www.ghanatalksradio.com. So, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong versus Dr. Bawumia, how would the NPP fall or fail? This is what we're discussing today. And like I said, it's all from this audio, this leakage out there, that we all heard the MP once again on the back of the Vice President. But how did all these things come about? So we're looking at the background of the issue, and the background is that a lot of the big wigs in NPP have declared their interest, not publicly they themselves, but we've seen the agenda has also started agenda So with the big names, especially the vice president, minister for trade and industry, we also have and then agriculture minister. All these names, they have had their supporters or their fans throughout the underground, the grassroots elections of the NPP to the national executive level. We've seen the agenda pushing from many of these names, right? So they are always, or their fan base have made it clear that they want to contest or they want to lead the NPP to the 2024 election. So like I said, very clearly we had the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, we had Mr. Alan Chermantin, and then the Minister for Agric, also Afriya Kotu. This is what Ghanaians, or this is what the politicians have always been aware of, these three people. And we all know that, like I said, MPP have been adamant that they're going to break the 8, especially since 2019 or 2020. After they won the election in 2020, it was all about breaking the 8 for the MPP. So yeah, this were the big names that came up, or that pop up to say that, oh, we want to lead the party into the next elections. And this is not new in Ghana politics, because we all know that now we are in the second term for His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, and we all know that he's going to step down after 2024, right? So it's traditional that it's part of the democracy that the NPP has a new leader going to the next general elections. And normally, it's normal that people within the NPP who have intentions to lead the party will come out and say that, oh, we want to lead the party into the next election. It's not a problem. One thing that's happened especially this time around is that the big names that their supporters are so eager and so enthusiastic about pushing them have kept quiet themselves, especially the vice president and then Mr. Alan Chermantin. And the reason is simple, because they've always indicated that they want to commit their time to what? To promoting the work of the president as at now. We are trying to help Mr. Nana Danko, Dr. Nana Danko Akufo-Addo succeed as a president. So for them, they will rather hold on to their own ambitions and then push the agenda or help this government succeed. And that is rightly so. And also the president has always made it clear that if you want to go into your politics, your own campaign, then let me know so that I can let you go. I can dismiss you. I will give you the chance to go in, but you cannot be in my government and then actively doing your own campaign. And that is where that has been a status quo for a long time in the NPP. But something dramatic happened in this country, not just in the country too, but also in the NPP, and that is where I think that our discussion will continue from. So I'd just try to understand who wants to lead the NPP into the 2024 elections. One, and then we want to understand why has Mr. Kennedy Agyapong been on the back of Dr. Bawumia. Those are the two things about, and also how would this particular act or agenda hurt the NPP? Will it hurt the NPP at all? Can they still break the 8? Will it hurt their ambitions for the next election? This is what I try to answer right here on the cubicle. So when we come back from this, I want to now zone into Mr. Kennedy Agyapong coming into the picture, coming into a race, also opting or choosing himself or bringing himself out to say, oh, I also want to lead the NPP. How did it come by? When did he do that? All of that when we come up from this. So stay tuned. This is still the cubicle right here on Ghana Talks Radio. We'll be right back after this break.
What up, GH? What's going on? We come your way with the latest filler, and yes, are you looking for the latest news about your favorite celebrity? Who married who and who cheated on who? Here we'll discuss everything with fun, joy, and comedy. Join myself on Himalayan DJ Coverage and Master of Comedy Alaji Zongo on Wednesday at exactly 8 p.m. live on Ghana Talks Radio.
Occasion demands the company of good music that fits the purpose. At GTR Sounds, we understand your need to create just the right atmosphere for your wedding or engagement, party, funeral, crusade, political campaign or rally, or just any other event. as well as executive and corporate functions. With our modern and high-quality spinning machines, mixers, microphones, and power amplifiers, binary speakers, and subs, we offer the highest of sound quality and music play at events and functions. At GTR Sounds, we have a team of seasoned and highly experienced sound engineers who understand just the right choice of music for your event. Locate our studios at Aponchi Hotel in Anya or call our numbers 054-8522-897 or 027-3363-973. You can also reach via our email sounds@ghanatalksradio.com. At GTR Sounds, we take care of your event.
So welcome right back to the Cubicle right here on Ghana Talks. Like I said before the break, we're looking at who will lead the NPP to the next election, the next generation. I know it's too early, but it's not too early in Ghana politics. And the names have been out there. First of all, the vice president, his agenda is going stronger and stronger. Then we have Mr. Alan Cash, Minister for Trade and Industry. But a new development has been coming, and that has been pushing the boundary to the extreme, even in some cases. And that's what I'm trying to focus on today. Like I said, in the run-up to the national executive elections on the NPP, the names were just a few, right? Or the names, or the agenda that we all saw then was just a few. The vice president, Mr. Alan Chamanten, and possibly the agriculture minister. These were the names that were rife during that particular time. So Mr. Kennedy Agyapong's name was not even popping now. We knew that he had the ambition, all right. People suggested to him publicly, but he had never said that I want to become the flag bearer for the NPP for the next elections. I want to lead the NPP to break the 8. So what happened? Why did things change? But the question is to himself, has he ever publicly just said that, oh, I want to lead the NPP to the next election? Like I said, when there were calls for the vice president to publicly state his ambition, or the minister for trade to publicly state their ambition, they all said that, no, we want to focus on helping His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to what? To have a successful second term and to leave a good legacy. So that was their focus. But here, we'll listen to Mr. Kennedy Agyapong stating categorically that yes, he wants to lead the NPP to the next election. I don't know when we can have that particular bit, but Mr. Kennedy Agyapong actually said that yes, as for him, I'm not going to wait for the term of the president. I'm going straight into the battle. So let's hear him, what he said.
Ejina ma MP. I want to be full my share. Ejina ma MP. I want to be full my share. Ejina ma MP. I want to be full my share.
Yeah, so we all heard it. I think this is a very short. One of the interviews that he had, he gave out an interview where he said that yes, he's going to be a presidential candidate on the tickets of the NPP, meaning he's going to be the flag bearer of the NPP into the 2024 election. And this is very interesting because if Mr. Kennedy Agyapong becomes the flag bearer for NPP, it means that he would have beaten the Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Lankash, and the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Is that going to happen? Let's wait to see what happens. But like I said, what made him decide to want to contest this flag bearership position in the NPP in the first place? It's not as if Ghanaians or people who supported him didn't see him fit to run. We all know that in the public space, his image is not so apt in the face of many Ghanaians, but it's debatable, right? But his main supporters have always endeavored on him to what? To contest the flag bearership position. So we've heard him say that yes, he will stand on the ticket of the NPP. But what happened? For me, I'll put it solely on the decision of the government to go to the IMF. You know, when this decision to go to the IMF came about, it wasn't just a shock to a lot of Ghanaians, but it had a very big impact or effect on the status quo of the NPP or the structure of the NPP or even the ambitions or the plans of the new patriotic party. mind you, like I said the previous week, the government had always denied that they will ever go to the IMF, because this was one thing that they berated the NDC government, the Omama-led NDC government for. So the decision to go to the IMF for especially Mr. Kennedy Agyapong was just a no. And I think that is the one of the ones, that's the one that broke the back of the cupboard, the last straw. He didn't understand why in the first place. Why would you even have to go to the IMF? Not at all. Because as he said in one of the videos, I accuse the NDC for mismanagement of the economy. That's why they had to go to the IMF. So for NDC NPP to go to the IMF, it meant that we also mismanaged the economy. Was that the sole reason why he decided to contest as a flag bearer? Or he says he wants to contest as a flag bearer? We don't know. But for me, I'll put it squarely on that decision. Squarely on that decision. And to Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, it is even more than that. What he's saying is that whoever is responsible for us going to the IMF should not be the face of the NPP going to the next election. And that is dire for the agenda of the vice president and even the agenda of Mr. Alan Chiromanten. Because, mind you, the vice president is the head of the Economic Management Committee. It means that he's in charge, basically, of the economic policy direction of the country. Especially when the finance minister is part of that committee. And the trade minister is also part of that committee. So it tells you that if Kennedy Agyapong is saying that those who lead the country to the IMF should not be the face of the NPP going to the next election, it means that he doesn't want the vice president to lead the party. He doesn't want Mr. Alan Chiromanten to lead the party. But why? The question is that why has he always been on the neck? Mind you, just last 2 weeks or the last 3 weeks ago, the finance minister was called to parliament to face a committee that was trying to censure him, to take him out. Because they wanted to hold him responsible, solely responsible for the economic situation of the country. So if anyone is going to be blamed for going to IMF, maybe we should be blaming the finance minister. But no, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong is saying that no, it's the vice president. It's the vice president. We have a clip of him talking about the issue of the faces when the decision of government to go to IMF came in the first instance. This was what he said. He was very mad. He was like, "This no one should allow the faces of the IMF to represent the face of NPP in the next." Let's hear what he said after. Let's hear his reaction after that particular announcement. Yeah.
You cannot use the face of those who took us to IMF to break the eggs. They don't work. My message to you is simple. You cannot read my lips, and I'm not scared of anybody in the party. I will tell you the gospel truth. It's the gospel truth. Those who take you to IMF cannot, this same face cannot break the eggs. You cannot use the face of those who took us to IMF to break the eggs. They don't work. My message to you is simple. You cannot read my lips, and I'm not scared of anybody in the party. I will tell you the gospel truth. It's the gospel truth. Those who take you to IMF cannot, this same face cannot break the eggs. You cannot use the face of those who
So, as you all hear, you cannot use the faces of those who took you to the IMF to represent the face of the NPP in the next election. Categorical, clear, and clearer than ever said by any NPP leader or any NPP stalwart in this particular regime or in these particular times or since the announcement of the decision of the government to go to the IMF. So for him, it's like biting your own tongue, actually spitting and taking back your saliva. Like he doesn't see that happening. He doesn't see that happening. But that's just one aspect of it. Yes, of course, you can blame someone for taking the country to IMF. And in his own words, he was that the decision to go to IMF is because the NDC mismanaged the economy. So if we are also going as NPP, it means that we also mismanaged the economy, right? And so all those who are responsible for the mismanagement should not be leading us to the next election. That's fine. That's what he said. That's one aspect of his claim, to contest as the flag bearer. And the other aspect is actually very, very interesting. He mentions the new faces. So the IMF faces should not lead the NPP. Rather, a new face is needed to lead the NPP, and he is the new face. Or he should be that new face to lead the NPP. Very, 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 very interesting. And what does he say? That apart from being a new face to lead the NPP into the next election to break the 8, he also says that his credentials as a business person qualifies him to be the best person to handle the affairs of the country. Now, before I even go to the business credential, I just want to say the image of Kennedy Agyapong as a personality, as a politician in the eyes of many Ghanaians, especially after his pronouncements during the issue of this Anas Armia expose during the number 12 time, or until that led, or within that happened within the context or the space of the murder of Ahmed Swale, actually dented his image a lot in the eyes of Ghanaians. That's my own personal take. I remember I wrote an article about it. I was like, Charlie, this article, the reviews I got for that article were so hard. But that's my personal take. You don't make those pronouncements in that context. But let's move from it. So he says that I'm going to be a new face. I'm a new face. But more importantly, just beyond that being a new face, I also am a business mogul. I also am a business expert. And then I'll handle the affairs of the country like a business. For me, these are very interesting. These are very, 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 very interesting claims. I look like he has done a personal audit of himself, and he knows what Ghanaians think of him. Because he says Ghanaians think of him as a good person who doesn't lie, who says the truth as it is, who doesn't back down on his own words. And that's the reason why he's chastising the decision of the NPP to go to the IMF. And that's why he's saying that all those who took the decision should not be those leading the party to the next election. Fine. But like I said, let's focus on his persistent attacks on the vice president. His persistent attacks on the vice president. Why? And the latest leakage that is actually making us feel that this Kennedy Agyapong versus Bawumia thing is getting more and more serious is the issue about the economy. The latest audio that we heard, what he said was, in this, we'll play it, but what he said, the paraphrase was like, you were counting economic theories, and then you were what? You were explaining economic situation with economic jargons, trying to say that if your fundamentals are weak, the exchange will expose you. Today, the exchange has exposed all of us, and for me personally, I've lost a lot of money. So you should not be the one leading the country because you don't have anything new to offer. And this, coming from an NDC person, is not going to be any kind of surprising. That's why I want to end today's discussion. It should not be surprising from any NDC member, but a senior member of parliament on the NPP side, a very renowned NPP stalwart, to the point where he actually openly says, I'm going to contest the flag bearership position, means for something to come out, for this kind of information to come out from his mouth, says a lot about the chances of the NPP going forward. And that's where I'm going to end my discussion today. Let's hear what he said, then I'll come back and I'll just finish it up because we're almost running out of time here.
If you are vice president, how do you sit there for finance minister to bully? If I'm a vice president, how can finance minister bully me? And now you come back and tell us we have not been given opportunity. What else do you want us to give you to prove that you are effective? Please, I'm telling you the gospel truth.
Charlie, we are just pausing the video. Something just came to my mind. He said if you're the vice president and you allow the finance minister to bully you, and then you come out and say that we've not given the opportunity. Behind the doors, behind the scenes, does that mean that the vice president knows very well that he has not actually performed to capacity and admits that he has not been able to perform as expected of him, especially from the image he gave the Ghanaian people pre-2016 election? Because everybody said that, but why was Dr. Bawumia able to diagnose Ghana's problem in opposition? Why was he able to proffer solutions to Ghana's problem once he was in opposition? But now he's a vice president. This is now his 6th year as vice president, or even 7th year, and he has not been able to live up to it. Is that the kind of complaining that Kennedy Agyapong is talking about? Has he been complaining that he has not been given the opportunity? Is it true that he has been bullied by the finance minister? Let's listen to the remainder of the audio, and then we'll come back and then we'll conclude our discussion right here. Okay? So let's play the remainder of the audio. Yeah.
If you are vice president, you sit there for finance minister to bully. If I'm a vice president, how can finance minister bully me? And now you come back and tell us we will not be given opportunity. What else do you want us to give you to prove that you are effective? Please, I'm telling you the gospel truth, so that you don't make any mistake. What we can do to change this country and the way the government is suffering from economy, this economy, if we don't change the same face that have been giving us economic theories, telling you when your exchange rate, when your fundamentals are weak, your exchange rate is explosive. When you were making that statement, the exchange rate was 4 cedis, 20 pesos. Friday, it was 15 cedis to a dollar.
Ghana politicians, they'll do everything. But yeah, what he's saying basically is that, sorry for the sound quality, but what he was saying basically is that you cannot, first of all, you cannot be the vice president and then be bullied by the finance minister, in the sense that you cannot be the vice president and then give way or lose your authority or cede authority to the finance minister to direct economic policy in the way that he wants it to be. 1. 2. You are also a face of the government which went to the IMF. So you are an old face, you are an IMF face. You should not be allowed to what? To represent the party in the 2024 elections. 3. All that you were talking about, the theories that you had since before we came to power, what have you been able to do with them? Because the accident that we were complaining about back then, today is much, much worse than that. And I have lost money my own, by myself. So you should not be allowed the opportunity. And this has been going on for a long time. Like I said, since the decision to go to IMF was announced. Even before or during the national executive elections of the NPP. Since then, this particular rift was created and has been widening and widening and widening. It has been widening. But my question is that, what effect does it have on the chances of the NPP as a whole going into the 2024 elections? 1, what effect does it have on the chances of even Kennedy Agyapong as a potential flag bearer or as an eventual flag bearer going into the next election or the next general elections? When we come up from this break, we'll answer those 6 questions, then we'll wrap up our conversation right here on the Cubicle on Ghana Talks Radio. We are live on YouTube and on Facebook. You can share your comments with us. When we come up, we can read them. Stay tuned there.
The matters of love are the matters of the heart.
Is that so? Where do we separate between emotions and reason?
Under the moonset, we pick the most daring of issues surrounding love, relationships, and family lives.
We speak on the topic most people like to keep to themselves.
With our brilliant panelists, we open the discussions into your love life.
So join us this and every Thursday at 8 p.m. live on Ghana Talks Radio.
Be a part of the conversation, enjoy the excitement, and let's find the answers together.
Yeah, so welcome right back here to the Cubicle on Ghana Talks Radio. My name is Lance Lauren. We are discussing the latest rant in quotes of Mr. Kennedy Agyapong against the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and it's just showing a big rift is being created within the NPP. Everybody will tell you, if you're going to an election, the one thing that you have to avoid is conflict within the party. As it stands, we are done with the national elections. At this point in time, it was just let's all share, let's all come together. The NDC are yet to fight because they are yet to go for their own executive elections, the national executive elections. NPP should not be having that problem, but Charlie, they have the problem, and the problem is that Mr. Kennedy Agyapong insists that the faces of the IMF or the face of government who decides to go to the IMF should not be those leading the NPP in the next election. But the question is that what does it have for the NPP? What does it hold for the NPP as a party? And this is what I just want to say before I conclude, that unity is key for any political party going into any election, no matter the size of the election or the level of the elections. One. But another interesting aspect is that the comments of Kennedy Agyapong actually berates and undermines and actually exposes a sense of incompetence and mismanagement on the part of the whole of NPP, not just the Vice President and the Finance Minister. Because if you claim that the Vice President, you are there, you couldn't manage the situation, we are now worse than we used to be, all right? In that, you are saying that the party has not performed. Like I said the other day, you cannot absorb any MPP, whether it's the executive or the legislature, from the performance of the whole party or the government. It cannot happen. You can't say that the executive that's going to be responsible for the economic crisis that we are in, not just the executive, because the MPs were those who passed the bills in parliament. They gave way for the finance minister to chop the money that they chop. They passed the bills. They approved the loans. So you cannot attack the vice president alone. You cannot attack the finance minister alone. If you want to attack them, the two of them, you have to attack everybody in MPP. So for Kennedy Agyapong to consistently say that Dr. Bawumia has failed as the vice president, or the finance minister is bad, it means that the whole of the NPP government, including the president, has not been up to expectation. And what signal would that particular message send across? What effect will it have for the chances of NPP itself as a party? It means they are not going to perform. They are not going to break the 8. They will not break the 8 because if you keep saying that your own is not good, your own is not correct, is incompetent, who can you now convince that you are correct or you are the best person to lead the country? It cannot happen because once you keep exposing your own party members, it means that you are also part of that party. You're also being exposed. You are also exposing yourself. So yes, it is normal. It is part of the democracy that candidates who avail themselves to contest to lead particular parties into elections. But to the extent where your agenda against your own actually exposes the rot within your own party, it means that you're actually sabotaging the chances of your own party in the next elections. And in your own words, going to IMF meant that you've just given the seat or power to NDC without any contest. The same thing you are doing right now with the attacks against the vice president. But who am I to say anything? Let's wait to see where the NDC also quarrel when the election time gets nearer. But this has been a chemical right here on Ghana Talks Radio. My name has been Lancer Lawrence, and it's been interesting. We have a lot of people watching us live on YouTube. I say thank you for watching. Tomorrow we'll come your way with another edition of the chemical right here on Ghana Talks Radio. I've been here with DJ Kobe Rich holding me down, and I say thank you to all those doing the monitoring and to members and staff and the management of GTR. Stay tuned. Tonight we have the GA Trends coming away at 7 p.m. live on Ghana Talks Radio. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of us. So bye-bye.